Attention car owners. Even when you think you've heard everything, there's always another twist in the tale of car ownership, and trust me, you want to know this before you fall for this. The auto industry is now a confusing mess because of economic ups and downs, problems with global supply chains, and changes in how people are handling their car affairs. And let me tell you, these shifts aren't just pie-in-the-sky daydreams from corporate meetings. They're tangible and rocking budgets, revamping financial plans for countless car owners across the US. Are you prepped to tackle the soaring costs and hurdles that owning a car now throws your way? What strategies can you implement to navigate these challenges of car ownership? Price surge panic. Ownership costs are skyrocketing, and it seems to be spinning out of control. It's like trying to tame a wild beast, only to realize that everything from basic maintenance to the formidable challenge of car insurance and the ever-daunting car financing is becoming more expensive. If you ever felt like every time you get behind the wheel, the universe is conspiring to make your life just a bit more expensive, you're definitely not alone. These days, it seems like every driver out there is caught in the same tangled web of frustration and expense. But don't just take my word for it. Just a glance at some of these numbers paints a vivid picture of why everyone's wallet is feeling the squeeze. Let's talk numbers. Car insurance premiums in the United States are taking a wild ride upward. Can you believe the national average for car insurance is set to jump by a whopping 22% next year? That's after we already saw a hefty 24% hike back in 2023. By the time this year wraps up, we're talking about an average annual premium hitting around $2,469. And before you wonder what's been causing this uptick, let me fill you in. This trend isn't exactly new. It's been a steady climb that's been happening since 2021. A mix of factors has been stirring the pot and making auto insurance costs soar like a kite on a windy day. Now let's pump the brakes for a moment and take a closer look at what's happening state by state. You might think it's all just about general inflation, but oh no, it's way more complex than that. We're not just talking about a blanket increase across the board. Some states are seeing some jaw-dropping premium spikes that might just make you do a double take. Take Minnesota, for instance. This chilly state is steering towards a staggering 61% jump in car insurance premiums. So what's steering this substantial surge? It's a combo of wild weather patterns and fraudulent activities. These factors are shaking up the risk assessments for insurance providers, and the impact is anything but minor. Next on the list is Missouri, where a 55% increase in car insurance rates is what folks need to start budgeting for. You might be asking why Missouri of all places? Well, it turns out Mother Nature has been particularly miffed with the show me state. Thanks to climate change, Missouri has been dealing with more frequent and severe weather events, leading to an uptick in claims and subsequent costs. Let's face it, more storms equal more damages, which means more claims, and here we are. Premiums going up, and away. Now let's cruise over to the Golden State, California, home of the sunny beaches and apparently skyrocketing insurance costs. Californians are looking at a 54% climb in their car insurance premiums. So what's the story here? In this case, it's partly thanks to the ripple effects we're seeing post-pandemic. Along with some legislative changes that have swept through, the insurance market dynamics are shifting like never before. It's a real shakeup that's echoing across the industry, turning zeros into hefty insurance bills. These state-specific bumps in the road mirror larger trends gripping the auto insurance world, casting a long shadow of rising operational costs associated with repairs, and the severity of claims. It's all part and parcel of why those premiums keep climbing. It's like a domino effect in motion. Each piece falling triggers another to topple. This isn't just a localized issue either. It's a nationwide phenomenon. Now let's dive into why the insurance premium cost is rising so much. There's a whole tangle of reasons why those monthly bills are packing a heftier punch than last year. Disaster aftermath. From 2020 to 2019, we've seen a mind-boggling increase in the number of major natural disasters worldwide. In fact, climate-related disasters shot up by a whopping 83% during this period. Just in the US, there were 467 major natural disasters that resulted in significant economic smackdowns and cranked up claims for insurers. Events like hurricanes, floods, hailstorms, and wildfires didn't just mess with our daily schedules. They resulted in steeper car insurance claims costs and dragged out repair times. Vehicles lay battered and bruised. Insurers stressed over climbing costs. According to CCC Intelligent Solutions, the drumbeat of storms isn't just a seasonal grumble anymore. It's a constant nag that demands insurers play a better hand. Hail-related claims, for one, have been hitting the charts hard. Repair costs? Well, they rose by about 15% over the past 3 years just because of hail damage. But that's not the whole story. Inflation's been throwing wrenches in the works when it comes to repair costs too. Parts prices have flown off the charts thanks to labor shortages and a lack of materials. Those issues have cranked up repair expenses, and guess who picks up the tab? Yep, the customers. Car insurance premiums? They're feeling the burn. The CCC's Crash Course report lets us in on the secret that auto claims are getting pricier, all because supply chain tangles make it a nightmare to score parts on time. Plus, inflation doesn't stop there. It also skyrockets labor costs. With fewer skilled technicians around, wages are climbing like a corkscrew roller coaster as repair service demand outpaces supply. This whole swell of factors means even routine repairs can gouge your wallet deeper, making premiums that much tougher to swallow. Now, let's rev up and look at auto theft and accident rates. We've got over 1 million vehicles stolen in the US in 2022 alone, marking a 7% increase in theft, making it the highest since 2008. Yikes! Keyless cars are especially attractive goodies for thieves with advanced methods up their sleeves. The National Insurance Crime Bureau gives us the cold, hard fact: these theft-related claims are bulking up the total losses for insurers. And it doesn't stop there. Accidents are seeing a surge post-pandemic as traffic cranked back up to the usual snarl. Distracted driving has fanned the flames, with smartphone juggling behind the wheel becoming more rampant. The National Safety Council highlights a staggering 127% rise in drivers fiddling with handheld devices from 2012 to 2021. With accidents climbing, insurance giants are doling out more payouts, leaving them with no choice but to rock those premiums. And let's not forget about the monthly payment. The average payment for those shiny new rides hovers around a steep $735. Meanwhile, if you're cruising in a gently used Steed, you're looking at an average of $523 each month. But don't get too hung up on these numbers. They shuffle around depending on your vehicle choice and precisely how you're financing your four-wheel dream. But it's not just the insurance that's got car owners pulling their hair out these days. Repair costs are equally, if not more, taxing on your wallet. Repair cost. Let's dive into the nitty-gritty of keeping your cars in tip-top shape because, on average, car enthusiasts like you and me might shell out between $800 and $900 annually for routine maintenance and those pesky unexpected repairs. Keep in mind, though, that this can vary wildly based on your car's make and model and just how religiously you follow its maintenance schedule. Let's pop the hood and check out the maintenance breakdown. First on the list is everyone's favorite, oil changes, which keep your engine purring. You're looking at around $800 every 5,000 to 7,500 miles. Now, don't forget about those tires. Moving along, as you hit every 10,000 miles, it's time for a basic inspection. That'll cost roughly $200. And then there's the break in your budget called brake pads. Every 30,000 to 50,000 miles, you might face up to $500 per axle. Lastly, there's the thought of batteries. They usually give up after about 4 years, and replacing one typically costs around $200. See, these regular checkups aren't just for show. They're your car's best defense against bigger, more expensive fixes down the line. But keep your toolbox handy. Unexpected repairs can spring up anytime due to wear and tear or some unforeseen incident. Now, let's throw another wrench into the works: supply chain issues. The automotive industry has been riding a rough road with supply chain disruptions that have sent parts costs sky high. We're talking labor shortages and a scarcity of materials that have taken the whole industry on a detour. Take rising parts costs. The lack of materials has skyrocketed prices on crucial components. For example, semiconductor shortages have really thrown a wrench in the gears of vehicle production and stretched repair timelines. Plus, we've got labor shortages to contend with. With a dwindling number of skilled technicians, labor costs have climbed as the demand for repairs outruns the supply. The other thing is depreciation, the silent wallet sting over time. New cars are notorious for being value-leeching machines. Take this new vehicle, for instance. instance, that loses about 20% of its value the second you drive it off the lot. Think you're safe after surviving year 1? Think again. By year 5, it's down about 60%, a real vanishing act of sorts. Knowing how cars depreciate keeps you in the loop on your ride's long-term value and assists in deciding whether it'll be your trusty companion for years or just a phase. Economic implication. Those skyrocketing bills for insurance, upkeep, and fuel are not just another line in your budget, they're economic influencers in their own right. These climbing costs don't just alter the financial landscape for individuals, but also send ripples across the economy, affecting growth and hinting at deeper implications for consumer behavior and social equity issues. Let's zoom into the economy's intricate web first. As car ownership becomes more of a financial squeeze, particularly with insurance costs poised to jump by a hefty 22% in 2024, it's inevitable that consumers will feel the pinch, resulting in less cash for those frivolous yet delightful outings. When households find themselves funneling more of their income into car-related expenses, they naturally start dialing back on spending elsewhere. A night out at the restaurant, that concert ticket, or even a weekend getaway suddenly seem like luxuries to be avoided. According to the American Automobile Association, the new cost of owning a car, now hovering around $12,297 annually, bleeds heavily into budgets, with big bucks spent on depreciation and those pesky finance charges. Now, how does this play out for the retail and services sectors? As spending tightens on non-essential items, retail businesses may notice declining sales, slowing down the engine of economic growth as they scramble to adjust to this newfound thriftiness among consumers. That's not where it ends. It's also about inflation pressures. With essential transportation costs booming, the ripple effect means our favorite goods and services, especially those heavily reliant on logistical tasks, start creeping up in price too. This kind of generalized inflation feeds directly into inflated living costs, tampering with household budgets and making every dollar stretch just that little bit less. Together, these forces of less spending coupled with inflation pressures could potentially throttle economic growth. It's a cycle of restraint and cautiousness as consumers, wary of their financial well-being, thanks to these rising costs, find themselves holding back from splurging on new gadgets or experiences. The impact is even more pronounced on low-income households, where the car isn't just a convenience, it's a lifeline. Such families for whom owning a car is a necessity and not a luxury feel the pressure intensely, as the climbing ownership costs strike them the hardest. The financial burden here is more than just noticeable. It can be stifling. Consider this: spending on car-related expenses like insurance, inflated by an eye-popping 30% since 2020, devour a larger chunk of income for lower-income families than for those earning more comfortably. Tack on the projection that the average car insurance premium might hit around $2,469 annually, and it's clear why this feels like an uphill struggle, especially in states like California and Minnesota, where rates could soar by over 50%. For these households, their vehicle isn't just transport, it's a viable path to stability and job access. Rising costs may force some individuals to postpone crucial repairs or routine maintenance, putting their employment at risk due to breakdowns they can't afford to fix. In regions with skeletal or unreliable public transportation systems, the lack of affordable vehicular options can severely undermine mobility, squeezing job accessibility, especially for families for whom every job opportunity counts. In essence, these rising costs of car ownership offer a window into broader societal strains, an evolving narrative that calls for a keen understanding of economic management and an eye towards potential solutions. The question remains: how will policymakers, businesses, and experts adjust to this landscape? What is their opinion on it? Experts' opinion. Let's kick things off with what insurance analysts have to say. Meet Anna Navarina, a top gun in the vehicle insurance world. She's got some startling stats for us. Vehicle repair costs have taken a 33% annual leap. Yikes! Thanks to inflationary vibes and not enough skilled hands to do the job, insurers are now tweaking those pricing models. Suddenly, minor fender benders feel like financial avalanches because modern car technology, while super cool, makes fixing a bumper way more expensive than it used to be. And there's the climate factor to worry about. Insurify experts are raising a flag, showing that wild weather, like those unpredictable hailstorms, is sending auto premiums through the roof. Just look at the numbers. Hail claims climbed from 9% to 11.8% of all comprehensive claims from 2020 to 2023, and with the climate constantly throwing curveballs, this pattern isn't going away anytime soon. In the world of automotive experts, technology is a front runner in reshaping the scene. Cars are evolving rapidly, with autonomous driving popping up more as the norm. While these bells and whistles are making cars safer and potentially reducing crash counts, there's a twist. The costs to fix them after an accident are climbing. Every tech-laden component your car sports means a heftier repair bill when something goes awry. Tech's only just getting started with its transformation of the insurance landscape. Fast forward to 2026, and connected cars will likely be the norm. With telematics in the mix, policies could twist towards personalizing to fit your driving style. Drive safely and you might just see your premiums drop, but let's not pop the confetti just yet, as experts warn that those snazzy safety features do contribute to higher repair costs, so savings might be harder to come by. Regulatory changes could shake things up too, as consumer confidence takes a dip, reflected in studies that highlight growing frustration with high premiums. Regulators might step in to push for more transparent and wallet-friendly insurance practices. You might also see more flexible offerings, such as pay-per-mile rates or insurance seamlessly intertwined with your car purchase right from the manufacturer. Now we have all thought about dodging car maintenance because those repair bills keep climbing. But do you know what happens when you start skipping out on your car's regular checkups? It's not just about missing a date with your mechanic. It's a decision that could come back to bite you in ways you might not expect. First up, let's chat about repair costs. You might think you're saving a few bucks now by skipping those maintenance tasks, but trust me, it's a lot like putting a band-aid on a leaky faucet. The problem will only grow bigger, and before you know it, you're staring at repair bills that could fund a small holiday. Ignoring something as simple as an oil change, that could wear down your engine faster than you can say overhaul, potentially racking up thousands of dollars in damages. Ouch! Let's shift gears and talk about your car's lifespan. Regular maintenance isn't just a nice to have, it's the secret ingredient to longevity. Tossing that out the window reduces your car's life by sending it down a slippery slope of frequent breakdowns and unexpected stoplights on your journey. Think of your car like a puppy that needs regular visits to the vet. Not only does it make it last longer, but it also keeps you from pulling your hair out when things go south unexpectedly. Safety. Now here's the plot twist, isn't just about seatbelts and airbags. A well-maintained car is a safe car. Neglect on your part can make it a hazard not only to you, but to anyone who shares the road with you. When brakes or tires are worn down to nothing, you're flirting with disaster. Imagine barreling down the highway and not being able to stop in time. A nightmare indeed. So let me tell you some savvy strategies to manage those maintenance and repair expenses like a pro, ensuring your ride stays smooth without putting your finances in a spin. Repair or ruin. First things first, crunching some numbers to figure out your monthly budget for car upkeep. Experts suggest earmarking about $112.50 each month for routine maintenance and surprise repairs, which works out to around $1,350 a year. This figure isn't pulled from thin air. It's got you covered for your usual car needs like oil changes, tire rotations, and brake swaps. But before you whip out the spreadsheet, take a sec to consider your driving style and how old your vehicle is. If you're someone who's constantly clocking more miles than the US average of 13,476 a year, you might have to stash away a bit more due to your car facing extra wear and tear. Now let's talk about a savings strategy by setting up a sinking fund, a super useful tool for all car owners. This involves putting aside a specific amount each month into a dedicated savings account meant solely for car expenses. The magic number seems to be between $100 and $150 a month, which can comfortably cater to both regular checkups and unscheduled repairs. Hold up though before you relax. It's smart to also have an emergency fund set up with at least $500 reserved exclusively for car mishaps. This stash acts as a safety net for those pesky unexpected costs, like dealing with a rogue flat tire or a battery that decides it's had enough. Keeping tabs on your expenses is crucial to staying on top of your budget game. You'll want to maintain a record of every dollar spent on your car's maintenance and repairs. This isn't just some nerdy exercise, it provides a clear picture of where your money's going and lets you tweak your budget if needed. Make it a routine to review this record periodically, perhaps every few months, to ensure you're saving enough for any upcoming car needs you might anticipate. Looking to save some cash on car upkeep? Well, it's time to channel your inner DIY hero. While it might not be wise to tackle the more complex repairs, you can definitely handle simple tasks like changing wiper blades or switching out air filters. A plethora of online tutorials are at your disposal, showing you the ropes and straightforward steps and saving you from unnecessary labor costs. It's a worthwhile skill to develop, and your wallet will thank you. Prioritize regular maintenance. Let's dodge those sky-high repair bills. We've all been there. panicking over an engine light that won't quit, or dealing with the fallout from that strange noise you hoped would just disappear, regular maintenance is your trusty lifeline here. It's like going to the doctor for regular checkups to catch health issues before they become serious. By changing your oil on a regular basis, you can dodge catastrophic engine issues, which could otherwise cost you an arm and a leg. And here's a bit of perspective. The average cost of keeping up with routine checks and tasks, we're talking oil changes and tire rotations, seats around $900 a year, which in the grand scheme of things is a small price to pay when compared to potential major repair bills that neglect could bring about. So don't skimp on those small fixes now. They're like armor against huge repairs later. Now, who doesn't want their car to last as long as humanly possible? Following your car's maintenance schedule does wonders for its lifespan. Imagine it as a spa day for your car, where each component, like the brakes, tires, and even the fluids, gets a bit of TLC. This attention keeps everything in working order and significantly lowers the chance of unexpected and annoying breakdowns. Plus, if you're thinking about parting ways with your vehicle eventually, you'll be thrilled to know that cars with a regular maintenance track record fetch better resale prices. Buyers are willing to pay more for a vehicle that's been treated like the prized possession it is, not just because it looks good, but because there's less risk of hidden problems simmering under the hood. Here's the kicker: safety is also front and center when it comes to regular maintenance. Those routine checks do more than preserve functionality. They ensure critical safety features like brakes and lights are doing their job and doing it well. It's not just about protecting you and your passengers, but also about keeping other folks on the road out of harm's way. Little issues left unchecked can snowball into full-blown disasters when you're zooming down the highway, so jumping on them early is not just smart, but essential. Think of it as setting the stage for accident-free driving every time you hit the road. Now we want to hear from you. How have rising costs impacted your experience as a car owner? Have you found effective strategies to manage these expenses? Let us know in the comments below.